Tracy said, and I quote, "Communication is a skill that you can learn. It's like riding a bicycle or typing. If you are willing to work at it, you can improve the quality of every part of your life." A warm welcome to our manager, Reverend Father Dionysius Lobo S.J., our headmistress, Sister Sumitra Parmar, RMI, our supervisor, Mrs. Esther Bansod, teacher educator, Miss Cecilia Coelho, and to all our viewers to the oral communication of grade 6. Oral communication is communicating with words. It's a verbal form of communication where you communicate your thoughts, present ideas, and share information. And this year, for the very first time, our children from grade 6 will be delivering the ideas, thoughts, and information of great, inspiring leaders and personalities, both with national and international recognition. Our children are motivated with these personalities, and I assure you they have delivered these speeches with their utmost understanding. With this, we now begin the oral communication of grade 6. So sit back and enjoy the show. Lissy Priya Kenjujam is one of the youngest speakers at the 2019 United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. She is also known as Greta from India. We will now hear the speech given by her at the United Nations Framework Convention, Madrid 2019.
I want our leaders to show more action. Born in Imphal, Manipur in 2011, she is one of the youngest climate activists in the world, having spoken at numerous platforms worldwide. She began a climate strike with more than 15,000 children and a youth to call the attention of world leaders to take strong environmental action. Yes, I am speaking about Lissy Priya Kenjujam, a child environmental activist from India. I have come here to tell world leaders that this is the time to act, and it is a real climate emergency. When I was born, our leaders had already made 16 times in the COP and already knew about the bad effects of climate change. So why should I come here? Why should I speak here? I have to go back to my school. I have to play. I have to study.
I am now thinking of continuing my education as it also has equal importance to shape my future career. Our leaders are busy blaming each other instead of finding a long-term solution. They are just speaking and not taking any actions. I want our leaders to take more action, otherwise our future would be dying soon. They must act right now. I am coming all the way from thousands of kilometers to tell you adults you must change your way of thinking. Losing my future is not like losing an election or a few points on the stock market. We your own children, and you are deciding what kind of world you are growing up in. I want to launch a rocket to the moon or to Mars to research how we can live there, because our Earth will be dying soon.
An amazing performance, girls. Our former president, late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, was an inspiration to all. Coming up next is the motivational speech given by him to become unique you.
Today on this beautiful day, thinking about Swami Vivekananda, I am happy to see young people. I want to share a thought with all the youth present here. I have met so far 11 million youth like you. I have seen their hopes, experienced their pain, worked with their aspirations, and heard through their despair. From all this, I learned something about youth. I learned every youth wants to be unique. That is you. But the world all around is just doing the best day and night to make you just everybody else. Now the question is whether you want to be you or everybody else. Being like everybody else is just convenient at the first glance, but not satisfying in long vision. The challenge, therefore, is that you have to fight the hardest battle which any human being can ever imagine to fight, and never stop fighting until you arrive at your designated place. That is unique you. To get the unique you, there is a big battle. There are 4 things you need to have to win that battle. The first is to set the goal. The second is to acquire the knowledge continuously. The third is to work hard with devotion. And fourth is perseverance. If you have these 4 tools, you will definitely become unique you. Being unique will require excellence. Excellence is self-imposed, self-directed, lifelong process.
Excellence is not by accident. It is process where an individual, organization or nation continuously strive to better oneself. The performance standards are set by themselves. They work on their dreams with focus and are prepared to take calculated results and do not get deterred by failures as they move towards their dreams. Then they step up their dreams as they tend to their potential. In the process, they increase their potential, and this is an unending life cycle phenomenon. They are not in competition with anybody else but themselves. That is the culture of excellence. Students ought to think and think well. They should do everything to build up a new state of India which will be everybody's pride. I would like to ask yourself what you would like to remember for. You should write this on a page, and that page will be the most important page in the book of human history, and you will be remembered for creating that page in the history of nation.
Yes, children, you all are unique and wonderful in your own ways. Saint Mother Teresa, a symbol of love and peace. She worked tirelessly for the downtrodden. Hearing her words always helps calming the storms within us. We will now hear her message for the World Conference on Women in Beijing, China, held in 1995.
Dear friends, I'm praying for God's blessing
on all who are taking part in the 4th World Conference on Women in Beijing. I hope that this conference may help people to know, love and respect the special place of women in God's plan, so that they may fulfill this plan in their lives. I do not understand why some people are saying that men and women are exactly the same and denying the beautiful differences between men and women. All God's gifts are good, but they are not all the same. As I often say to some people who like to serve the poor as I do, what I can do, you cannot. What you can do, I cannot. But together we can do something beautiful for God. It is just this way with the differences between men and women.
God has created each one of us, every human being, for greater things, to love and to be loved. But why did God create some of us men and others women? Because women's love is one image of love of God, and men's love is another image of God's love. Both are created to love, but each in a different way. Women and men complete each other and together show forth of God's love more fully than either can do alone. That special power of loving that belongs to a woman is seen most clearly when she becomes a mother. Motherhood is a gift of God to woman. How grateful we must be to God for this wonderful gift that brings such joy to the whole world. Women and men alike, yet we can destroy this gift of motherhood, especially by the evil of abortion, but also by thinking that other things like jobs or position are more important than loving, than giving oneself to others. No jobs, no plans, no possessions, no idea of freedom can take the place of love. So anything that destroys God's gift of motherhood destroys His most precious gift to women, the ability to love as a woman.
God told us, love your neighbor as yourself. So first I am to love myself rightly, then to love my neighbor like that. But how can I love myself unless I accept that God has made me? Those who deny the beautiful differences between men and women are not accepting themselves as God has made them, and so cannot love the neighbor. They will only bring division, unhappiness and destruction of peace to the world. For example, I have often said abortion is the greatest destroyer of peace in the world today. And those who want to make men and women the same are all in favor of abortion. Instead of death and sorrow, let us bring peace and joy to the world. To do this, we must beg God for His gift of peace and learn how to love and accept each other as brothers and sisters, children of God. We know that the best place for children to learn how to love and pray is in family, by seeing the love and prayer of their mother and father. When families are broken or disunited, the children grow up not knowing how to love and pray. A country where many families have been destroyed like this will have many problems. I have often seen it, especially in rich countries where children turn to drugs or other things to escape feelings unloved or rejected.
But when families are strong and united, children can see God's special love in the love of their father and mother and can grow to make their country a loving and prayerful place. The child is God's best gift to the family and needs both mother and father because each one shows God's love in a special way. The family that prays together stays together, and if they stay together, they will love one another as God has loved each of them. And works of love are always works of peace. So let us keep the joy of loving in our hearts and share this love with all we meet. My prayer for all the delegates and for every woman whom the Beijing conference is trying to help is that each one may be pure and humble like Mary, so as to live in love with one another and keep our families and our world something beautiful for God. Let us pray.
It was wonderful to hear you girls. Very good. A ray of hope for many Dalits in India in the time of the British rule was none other than Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He is also known as the father of the Indian Constitution. Let us hear how well our children tell us about him.
Opposition to untouchability. One can say that untouchability is an enhanced form of casteism in India. Now largely absent, it was a terrible scenario faced by the lower caste people previously. Furthermore, the idea behind this ridiculous practice was that certain lower caste people were considered impure and so the higher caste people avoided physically touching them. Ask any rational, logical person would say that this is blatant defamation and humiliation of an individual. Naturally, Ambedkar was vehemently against the evil practice.
During his days of practicing law in the Bombay High Court, Ambedkar promoted education among the untouchables. The aim of this practice was to uplift the so-called untouchables community. Furthermore, Ambedkar launched active movements against untouchability. Moreover, he laid emphasis on opening up public drinking water resources. Also, Ambedkar strongly supported the right of lower caste to enter temples.
Dr. B.R. Ambedkar remains a symbol of equality and 4% of human rights. His works and ideas continue to influence the people. His forward thinking and ideas are still applicable today. Many look up to him as a role model.
Well done, girls. All children have a favorite toy, and so did Indira Gandhi. She had a foreign doll whom she treated as a friend, but to fulfill her duty towards her country, she burnt it. Coming up next is the incident she narrated in one of her interviews, burning the doll.
A little later, I had my first encounter with conscience and duty. Being an only child, I liked to play by myself, but I had to have my mother within my range of vision and hearing. One evening, she had a visitor, a relative returning from Paris, who had brought an exquisite embroidered dress for me. Mummy smilingly understand this and glancing at my mother's clothes. The only khadi available was thick and rough as sacking. She could not help noticing that wherever her skin had rubbed against the sari, it had become sore and red. She burst out, "I think you all have gone mad, but you are an adult, and if you want to be ill, I suppose it's your business. But certainly you have no right to make the child suffer, and I have brought a gift for her. Come here, Indu, called my mother. Auntie has brought you a foreign frock. It looks pretty. You can wear it if you like. But first, think of the big fire in which we burned all our dainty things. Would you like to wear this foreign thing where the other are wearing khadi?"
The temptation was very strong. My eyes shone with desire. I stretched out a small hand to touch the dress, but even before my hand reached it, I found myself saying, "Take it away, I shan't wear it." "But why not? Don't you like nice things?" the visitor teased. I do, but, and I repeated all the arguments I had overheard from the elder's talk. When she said, "All right, Miss Sane, how is it that you have a foreign doll?" It was an ideal remark thoughtlessly made. Adults so often look upon children as playthings, not understanding what is hidden by the lack of power of expressions. I was passionately fond of the doll. I could not think of it, indeed of anything, as lifeless. Everything was given a name and immediately developed its own personality. The doll was my friend, my child. For days on end, or was it weeks? It doesn't matter. It seemed an eternity. I was overwhelmed by the burden of decisions. The struggle went on between love for my doll, pride of owning such a lovely thing, and what I thought to be my duty towards my country. Never fond of food, I found it even more irksome then, and sleep came only out of exhaustion. My mother thought I was sick for something, and so I was. At last, I made my decision, and quivering with tension, I took the doll up the roof terrace and set fire to it. Then tears came as if they would never stop, and for some days I was ill with the temperature. To this day, I hate striking a match.
An amazing performance, girls. Who amongst us doesn't know the great Maratha king, the founder of Swaraj, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj? The following is a speech made by the students to brief us as to who this great man was.
Shivaji Bhosle was born in the royal family of Sahaji Bhosle. He was a born leader and went on to establish the Maratha Empire that even terrified the mighty Mughals. Born on 16 February 1627 in Shivneri, Shivaji was the proud son of Sahaji. This Shivaji Maharaj essay in English will tell you the glory and the valor of the people's king. Shivaji's mother, Jizabai, was also of strong personality. She was virtuous and wanted to give a proper education to her son to make him fearless. He grew up listening to the valor and glory of Ramayana and Mahabharata. He also followed the teachings of these two epics. He also imbibed the strong, resilient features of an ideal Hindu character. He never learned to bow down to any force. In this Shivaji Maharaj essay, his life and achievement will be unfurled. He
He was inspired by Dada Kondev to learn different warfare skills relevant in the contemporary era. His guru wanted him to survive any diverse condition by using such skills. Apart from his survival and warfare skills, he became a nationalist and the man of his words. He followed the teachings of Saint Ramdev and understood the importance of religion. This education included the importance of all religion, culture and politics. From the evidence of Shivaji Maharaja's essay in English of historians, you may observe that his skills and life lessons have helped him to become one of the greatest leaders of India. He quickly became adept at different life and warfare skills and entered into the reality of the world. He started to attack the enemies surrounding his kingdom and captured them one after the other to make a bigger and stronger empire. The moment his flag was hoisted in the forts of Toran and Purandar, his stories of bravery and strength reached Delhi and Agra. The rulers, whether they were tyrants or subject-loving, started to fear his name.
Adil Shah, the king of Bijapur, was afraid of his growing power. He then captured his father Shahji and imprisoned him. Learning his father's imprisonment, he was furious but did not lose his mind. He planned well and freed his father. This made Adil Shah more furious. He ordered his commander Afzal Khan to plan a murder and eradicate Shivaji. Afzal acted as a friend to gain his confidence and kill him. Shivaji was one step ahead. He killed Afzal Khan by hiding a deadly dagger in his cloak and fled. Under his dominance and valor, the Maratha Empire grew more stronger every day. He was known to be a freedom fighter as he relieved commoners from the tyrants. He was considered to be anti-Muslim by many, but it is not actually true. His two generals were Siddhi and Daulat Khan. Historians suggest that his army consists of soldiers from different races and religion. He never learned to differentiate between people in terms of caste, religion or color. He focused his energy on eradicating the tyrants of the contemporary era. Most of them were Muslim rulers. He never instigated any religious war or motive to uproot a kingdom. All he did was to understand common people's pain under the sabbatical Aurangzeb and other rulers. He freed many people and thus was named Chhatrapati Shivaji by his admirers. He ruled the Maratha Empire for 27 years and created an example to follow. He then fell sick and suffered from an unknown fever for 3 weeks. Then he succumbed his illness and died on 3rd April 1680 in Raigad Fort. Shivaji Maharaj was the king who always thought ahead of the time. While making any plan or decision, he thought about the impact on that decision in future. And probably most of the time he was having the solution for upcoming problems. So he was known as the ideal person for his ahead time thinking.
In the words of Swami Vivekananda, and I quote, Shivaji was the greatest was eagerly expected by all the great souls and saints of Maharashtra as the deliverer of Hindus from hands of Melkers and the one who succeeded in the re-establishment of Dharma, which had been trampled underfoot by the depredation of devastating hordes of the Mughals.
Well done, boys. You did well. Well done, boys. You did well. Malala Yousafzai is a youth icon and her story is not hidden. Following is an excerpt from the speech given by her at the Nobel Peace Prize acceptance event in Norway in 2014.
When the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful, and this one voice is none other than the voice of Malala Yousafzai, the voice which was heard by millions of people across the globe. When this young activist spoke at the UN Nobel Peace Prize acceptance event, she is Malala, and I quote her. Some people call me the girl who was shot by Taliban. As far as I know, I'm just a committed and even stubborn person who wants to see every child getting quality education. When my world suddenly changed, my priorities changed too. I had two options. One was to remain silent and wait to be killed, and the second was to speak up and then be killed. I chose the second one. I decided to speak up.
I tell my story not because it is unique, but because it is not. Though I appear as one girl 5 foot 2 inches tall, if you include my high heels, I am not a lone voice. I am many. I am Malala, but I am also Shazia. I am Kunud, I am Songro. I am Mozun, I am Amina. I am those 66 million girls who are deprived of education. In the year 2015, representatives from all over the world will meet. It is not a time to tell the world leaders that how important education is. They already know it. Their own children are in good schools. Now it is time to call them to take action for the rest of the world's children so that it becomes last time that we see child deprived of education. Let this end with us. Let's begin this ending together. Today, right here, right now. Let's begin this ending now. Thank you so much.
Excellent delivery, dear girls. You did well. We all have dreams, just as Martin Luther King Jr. had. His famous speech, I have a dream, is a hope for all of us. We can achieve our goals if we believe in ourselves. Coming up next is his speech given in 1963 in Washington, D.C. I have a dream.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the real meaning of its creed. Behold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering in the heat of injustice, sweltering in the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they'll not be judged by the color of their skin but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama with its vicious races, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. Right there, down in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white girls and white boys as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places shall be made plain, and the crooked places shall be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope and this is our faith, that I go back to the south with. With this hope, we'll be able to transform the genuine discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we'll be able to view out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we'll be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, and to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we'll be free one day. And this will be the day. This will be the day when all of God's children will say with new meaning, my country, this of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing.
Excellent performance. Michelle Obama is one of those personalities who strives hard for the upliftment of women. The next upcoming speech is delivered by Michelle Obama on the importance of educating girls and gender equality.
Hi everyone. I wish we could be together sharing hugs and laughs in person. But I'm so thankful that Girl Up has found a way to keep us connected and celebrate the power of girls all over the world. Over these past few months, there's been so much uncertainty. You all are dealing with serious loss in your own families and abrupt changes to your daily lives, especially when it comes to your education. But you all have shown incredible resilience in difficult circumstances before. Your determination over so many years has already helped countless girls to create a brighter future for themselves and their families. And this pandemic has only shown us that your efforts are even more important right now. We know from past crises like Ebola that the struggles that many girls have already faced are worsened in times like this. Violence at home, child marriages, economic hardship, and caretaking responsibilities within families. Challenges like these are even more stark in times of crisis, and that includes education.
The Malala Fund predicts that when students are eventually allowed back into their classroom, an additional 10 million girls of secondary school age could remain out of school. And we can't let that happen. We can't let these girls be forgotten during this crisis. The stakes are just too high, because when we give girls the chance to learn, we give them the opportunity to fulfill their potential build healthier families, and contribute to the country's economies for generations to come. That's why we started the Girls' Opportunity Alliance at the Obama Foundation, because we believe that the millions of adolescent girls around the world who aren't in school today can make a profound difference for their families, their communities, and the entire world, but only if they have the opportunity and the education to get it done.
I know that all of you believe that too, and that's why we are excited to work hand in hand with each and every one of you. You can start by joining me in spreading the word about global girls' education with the hashtag Girls' Opportunity Alliance. I've already seen your ability to create change all over the world. Girl Up clubs have stepped up in incredible, inspiring ways during the pandemic, from making face masks for their communities in Mexico to setting up online learning platforms in Malawi. With every action you take, you're proving that you're not just a leaders of tomorrow, you're already the leaders of today. So thank you again. Thank you for everything you're doing. I can't wait to see how you'll come together to change the world and help all girls to fulfill their boundless promise. Have a great summit. See you.
Excellent, girls. You spoke well. India went through a great trauma when the father of the nation, Gandhiji, was assassinated. The light has gone out of our lives is the speech given by our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, when Gandhiji died.
Friends and comrades, the light has gone out and there is darkness everywhere. I do not know what to tell you and how to say it. Our beloved leader Bapu, as we called him, the father of the nation, is no more. Perhaps I am wrong to say this. Nevertheless, we will never see him again as we have seen him in these many years. We will not run to him for advice and seek solace from him, and that is a terrible blow. Not to me only, but to millions and millions in this country. And it is difficult to soften the blow by any other advice that I or anyone else can give you. The light has gone out, I said, and yet I was wrong. For that light that shone in this country was no ordinary light. The light that has illumined this country for these many years will illumine this country for many more years. And 1,000 years later, that light will be seen in this country and world will see it, and it will give solace to innumerable hearts. For that light represented something more than the immediate past. It represented the living, the internal truths, reminding us of the right path, drawing us from error, taking this ancient country to freedom.
All this happened when there was so much more for him to do. We could never think that he was unnecessary or that he had done his task. But now, particularly when we are faced with so many difficulties, his not being with us is a blow most terrible to bear.
Well done, children. You spoke very well. Kiran Bedi, an icon of women empowerment. She needs no introduction. The following that we will hear is the speech given by her as an acceptance speech for the Raymond Magsaysay Award in 1994.
Mr. President, Mrs. Magsaysay, trustees, ladies and gentlemen. 22 years ago, when I decided to join the elite Indian Police Service, I saw in it great potential for the part to do, the part to get things done, and the part to correct. I do firmly believe that police in any country can be the greatest protector of human rights and rule of law, as it could well be the greatest violator of both. The Raymond Magsaysay Award has done a couple of magical things in my case as it does in others. It has recognized the power to prevent. Crime prevention is usually given lower priority and underestimated as an area of policing. What gets priority and headlines is detections and seizures, and not prevention of delinquency and breach of peace, which had all the potential of the violent crime. The power of policing with people. Policing is for people. Therefore, people must be made partners in policing. Once that is done in a variety of ways, it provides transparency and accountability to the whole system. Resources which cannot alone come from police could come from participative policing.
The power of the team. Leaders in police or government, if they want result, need to form teams and allow them initiatives, delegation, support, non-interference and training with total emphasis on professional integrity. While personal example is crucial, sharing of achievements will lead to more results. This will lead to not only keeping security but creating security. The award has propelled me to consolidate and expand my work. For this, I have registered a trust called India Vision that I am breathing life into at this moment. It will carry forward projects in the field of prison reform, drug abuse prevention, empowerment of women, mental disability, and sports promotion. I seek your greater support in these projects. I accept the Raymond Magsaysay Award with total gratitude to the Foundation and the Philippines on behalf of my team comprising police, prison people, and my family from India. Just before leaving for the ceremony, I received a call from my prison headquarters from the DIG Mr. Sarangi that at this very moment, all 9,100 prisoners are having special celebrations within the prison premises.
A good job, girls. To be successful, you need to be hardworking and willing to take the risk. The launch of the Indica is a result of the hard work, determination, and risk taken by Ratan Tata to make his mark in history. The next speech is given by Mr. Ratan Tata from the Automotive Hall of Fame 2015 at the induction and awards gala ceremony.
The greatest pleasure I've had is trying to do something that everybody says could
not be done. I'll just share perhaps a moment in time which I will always cherish. I decided that India could produce its own car. All my friends overseas in the automobile business said that this couldn't be done. We had to go through a collaboration to get to know how to get technology that we undertake to produce this car. You saw images of it in the video. It was called the Indica and we produced it in India, totally of Indian content. As we got close to putting it in the market, my friends in India somewhat distanced themselves from me, otherwise known as distancing yourself from failure. And when the car came out, I suddenly felt that I didn't have a friend in the world, and all the warnings that people had given me were probably going to come true. But the car did come out. It did earn a 20% market share.
And we showed that we could do something. Throughout the time I have been involved in business, there hasn't been anything that has equaled the excitement, the reward and the exhilaration that the car industry has provided and can provide. It gives, as has been said earlier, an opportunity to test new technologies, new building methods, but above all, it has helped in the transformation of the Indian economy to mobile economy. And a great deal of what has happened in India happened right here in Detroit. The world was a great deal to United States for doing what it did to get the car industry to be taken for granted the rest of the world as it has over the years. It's a great pleasure to be involved in the industry and a very humbling recognition to receive the award that's been bestowed today. I owe this to my colleagues in the company who have transformed this business. And I would like to thank the automotive who put together this award and to say how much I cherish that have been included in the Hall of Fame. Thank you so much.
Well done, boys. You were splendid. I now request our headmistress, Reverend Sister Sumitra Parmar, RMI, to address us.
Dear parents and students, it is said, speech is a mirror of the mind. Speech is an important part of our personality because beauty can only gain attraction, but speech and good language can win hearts forever. Children, effective communication skills are vital for a student's academic success. In today's challenging environment, students must not only possess academic expertise but also effective communication skills to enhance their personality. Here at St. Xavier's School, we provide a platform to our students to hone their skills to the oral communication. And I must say that all the students of grade 6 have put up an effective and powerful performance. I would especially like to mention the confidence and clarity of thought and speech that the students have displayed while delivering the speeches. You have done an excellent job. Dear children, I congratulate all of you for your wonderful performance. I also congratulate Teacher Sweta for taking sincere effort to guide the students and bring out the best in each one of them. Dear parents, I hope you have enjoyed the oral communication. Do encourage your children to read and converse in English. It will definitely help them to have an edge over others in this competitive world. Thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you, sister. I now request our manager, Reverend Father Dionysius Lobo S.J., to address us.
The purpose of our languages is communication. Children learn English in the school, and so they need to be able to communicate, especially orally. Now, oral communication demands a lot of little skills. Besides memory, the person speaking must be audible. He must be loud enough. He must be clear. He must be deliberate. He must be effective. Now, to be effective, you need to be able to control your voice. You need voice modulation and so many other skills which Teacher Sweta has been trying to instill in the children. Her goal has been the Magis. Now, Magis is a Jesuit term which means doing more, doing better. It's not just doing better. After you have done better, you have to do better still. And once you have done better, so do it still better. And so it goes on till we reach perfection, which never comes. I want to appreciate the efforts he has taken to ensure that each child learns as much as he can, speak effectively, and be a source of joy to his parents or her parents and the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Father, for your encouraging words. It means a lot to us. Challenges, obstacles, and failures help us to grow. And this pandemic has been harsh on many, especially on our children. But we are thankful to God for helping us to grow. We are grateful to Him for keeping us safe and in good health. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our manager, Reverend Father Dionysius Lobo S.J., for his never failing, unceasing support and guidance. I am thankful to him for going through each and every child's performance and helping us improve. I would like to thank our headmistress, Reverend Sister Sumitra Parmar, RMI, who is always working towards improving our students. I would like to thank our supervisor, Mrs. Esther Bansod, and teacher educator, Miss Cecilia Coelho, for their expertise and guidance. Most of all, I would like to thank all the parents for their unceasing support during the preparation for this program. Dear parents, you have been mediators between the school and the students. Without your generous support, we would not be able to be successful in this show. Nevertheless, how can we forget the stars of this oral communication? Yes, we are grateful to all the children for taking active part in this oral communication. Children, you did your best and we are all proud of you. On this note, I thank everyone involved in our oral communication. And I bid you farewell until we meet again for our next event. Stay home, stay safe. Goodbye.